Welcome back to Beyond the Box Score, where the numbers tell the real story. Tonight, we're diving into a must-watch summer league matchup between the Washington Wizards and the Utah Jazz, two franchises stacked with hungry young talent, elite prospects, and breakout stars in the making. This isn't just another exhibition game. It's a battle of future rotations, system depth, and rising stars like Keontae George and Bilal Coulibaly looking to prove they belong on the big stage. What happens tonight might not make SportsCenter, but scouts are watching, GMs are watching, and if you're serious about hoops, you should be watching too. Get ready for a full breakdown. Stats, matchups, odds, X factors, and a final score prediction you won't want to miss. Let's get into it. This is Beyond the Box Score. This summer league opener between the Sacramento Kings and Cleveland Cavaliers isn't just a warm-up for the day, it's a true tone-setter for July 16th basketball action in Vegas. Tip-off at 3:30 p.m. ET features two squads rich in hungry, high-motor prospects. Every minute on the court is an audition, every possession an opportunity. For these young hoopers, there are no guarantees, just chances to earn their future. Let's start with Sacramento, a team that's quietly looked like one of the most composed summer league units in Las Vegas. Led by second-year guard Colby Jones, the Kings have shown incredible poise and floor balance, two qualities rarely seen in short training window teams. Jones has been a standout not just statistically, but stylistically. He's averaging 17 points and 6 assists across his last two games while keeping turnovers low and pace steady. What separates Jones is his situational awareness, knowing when to push, when to pull back, and how to manipulate pick-and-roll angles like a true veteran floor general. He's flanked by Jordan Ford, who's turned himself into a microwave scorer. Ford's value goes beyond his 20-point outburst in the last game. He's hitting from deep, reading defensive coverages with clarity, and playing comfortably both on and off the ball. His footwork when coming off pin downs or attacking off curls is textbook, and he's shooting over 41% from beyond the arc in Vegas, forcing defenses to go over screens and opening up back-cut lanes for his teammates. Another name gaining traction is Isaiah Crawford. Though not a volume scorer, Crawford brings that energy wing archetype every NBA team needs, someone who guards multiple positions, crashes the glass, and makes hustle plays on both ends. He's also flashing corner three consistency, shooting 36% from that spot in Vegas and making himself available as a floor spacer when Jones and Ford draw doubles. Let's not forget about Kyle Guy, the former Virginia sharpshooter and EuroLeague standout who's trying to claw his way back to the NBA. Guy has been Sacramento's steady hand off the bench, draining threes and helping stabilize the second unit when the game pace gets frantic. Between him, Crawford, and big man Kessler Edwards, the Kings bench might be one of the most tactically efficient in this year's summer league. Now shift the lens to Cleveland. The Cavaliers came to Vegas with size, speed, and potential, and Evan Mobley Jr. has been the centerpiece of their plans. Towering at 6 feet 10 inches with a similar frame to his older brother Evan Mobley of the big club, he's not just patrolling the paint, he's dictating terms in there. Mobley Jr. is averaging a near double-double and swatting shots with timing that suggests a high ceiling. But it's his offense that's surprising scouts. He's knocking down mid-range jumpers, executing pick-and-roll finishes with soft touch, and has shown flashes of post footwork that could eventually translate to a back-end NBA. Rotation role. Cleveland's tempo is controlled by Mickey Mitchell, a rugged, downhill guard who's the engine for their transition offense. He's not just scoring, he's breaking traps, driving the lane, and collapsing defenses so Mobley Jr. and wings like Tevian Jones can feast off open looks. In his last outing, Mitchell dropped 10 points on 5 of 7 shooting in just 15 minutes, proving his impact goes well beyond box score averages. Tevian Jones, meanwhile, brings fluidity and rhythm to Cleveland's perimeter game. He's knocking down threes at a 38% clip and has a mature handle under pressure. He's not afraid to take contact in the lane and has shown the ability to get to the free throw line consistently, an underrated but valuable asset for a team that thrives when the clock stops. But where the Cavaliers may struggle is in structured half-court offense. When Mitchell is off the floor, and Mobley Jr. isn't getting post touches, the offense occasionally stalls. Their floor spacing becomes uneven, and their guards can over-dribble. Against a Kings team that has done well disrupting rhythm with high hands and quick rotations, that weakness could be exposed. Now, let's talk numbers. According to DraftKings, Sacramento is listed as a minus 1.5 point favorite, with the total set at 187.5. That line has shifted slightly from opening at a pick'em, reflecting early betting volume favoring the Kings' structure and guard depth. The over has hit in 4 of the Kings' last 6 Summer League games dating back to 2023, largely because of their fast-paced second unit and ability to generate easy transition buckets. Sacramento is converting nearly 1.22 points per transition possession, one of the highest marks in Vegas. Meanwhile, Cleveland has shown vulnerability defending the pick and pop, particularly when Mobley Jr. has to help out on high screens, leaving the corners exposed. Injury updates heading into this matchup are favorable for both teams. Colby Jones is fully active with no restrictions. Jordan Ford will be available despite a slight ankle tweak from 2 days ago, and Cleveland's Mobley Jr. is cleared for full minutes. No load management expected. What should fans and bettors keep their eye on? The Colby Jones vs. Mickey Mitchell matchup is massive. If Jones can control tempo and avoid live ball turnovers, Sacramento should be able to set up their secondary actions and put pressure on Cleveland's perimeter defenders. But if Mitchell gets into passing lanes and turns defense into instant offense, the Cavaliers could control the pace and rack up points in transition. Also watch for bench efficiency. Sacramento's second unit has averaged 38 bench points per game, while Cleveland's has hovered around 26. That 12-point gap becomes decisive in tight fourth quarters where stars are gassed and hustle plays take over. Another X factor: free throws. Sacramento is shooting 81% from the line, best among Western Conference Summer League teams, while Cleveland is down at 68%. In a game that might come down to late-game fouls and execution, that difference could be the tipping point. Final score prediction: Sacramento Kings 105, Cleveland Cavaliers 101. We're riding with Sacramento's system, spacing, and late-game execution. Colby Jones continues to show poise beyond his years. Ford will knock down a few big shots. Crawford makes a game-changing hustle play. And while Mobley Jr. will shine in flashes, Cleveland's offensive inconsistency late is their undoing. But let's be clear, this one will be close, competitive, and intense. Two teams with radically different identities, fighting for a statement win in Vegas. The kind of summer league clash where stars emerge, and futures are shaped. The lights are still blazing in Las Vegas, as the Phoenix Suns square off against the Minnesota Timberwolves in a highly anticipated Summer League showdown on July 16, tip-off at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. For many casual fans, this might look like just another exhibition game. But for scouts, analysts, bettors, and die-hard hoop heads, this is the battlefield where future rotational pieces are forged. Let's begin with the Phoenix Suns, a team coming into this game with a chip on their shoulder. After underwhelming results earlier in the Summer League slate, the Suns are showing signs of cohesion, particularly behind their lead guard Grant Sherfield. Sherfield has become the de facto quarterback of this Suns squad, averaging 16.3 points, 4.7 assists, and shooting an efficient 46% from the field through 3 Summer League games. He's controlling tempo, orchestrating pick and rolls, and making the right reads, especially in late clock situations. But it's not just about Sherfield. Toumani Camara, who appeared in 25 regular season games for Phoenix last year before becoming a key part of their Summer League core, is finally flashing his two-way potential. Camara has been elite defensively, contesting shots at the rim, switching onto guards, and causing havoc in passing lanes. He's also giving Phoenix a frontcourt scoring punch, chipping in 13+ points per game and showing confidence from mid-range. Also rising is Ish Wainwright, the 6 feet 6 inches forward with a linebacker's build and a point guard's IQ. Though not always filling the stat sheet, Wainwright is doing the little things, boxing out, rotating smartly, and guiding the younger Suns with veteran communication. His presence adds defensive structure and physicality to a lineup that often faces size disadvantages in summer league matchups. What Phoenix lacks in elite draft talent, they make up for in cohesion, perimeter discipline, and smart off-ball movement. Their assist-to-turnover ratio has improved every game, and in their last outing, they committed just 8 total turnovers, lowest among all teams on the slate. For a squad short on superstar upside, that kind of efficiency is their identity. Meanwhile, the Minnesota Timberwolves come in riding momentum, but carrying questions. The clear standout for them has been Josh Minott, a second-year forward who looks completely comfortable dominating on both ends. Through 3 games, he's averaging 18.5 points, 7.3 rebounds, and nearly 2 blocks per contest. Minott's athleticism is off the charts. He's skying for tip-ins, erasing shots on help rotations, and terrorizing defenders in the open floor. But the real surprise has been Dane Goodwin, the rookie from Notre Dame who's quickly built a reputation as a knockdown shooter. Goodwin is drilling 44% from 3 on solid volume, spacing the floor and forcing opposing defenses to extend. That shooting gravity is unlocking drive and kick opportunities for Minott and Brandon Williams, another guard quietly piecing together a strong Vegas campaign. Speaking of Williams, he's emerged as the team's secondary creator. While not the most explosive guard, he's averaging 5.1 assists per game, reading weak side rotations well, and showing an ability to control pace. When he and Minott run inverted pick and rolls, it opens up an entirely new dynamic that many summer league defenses haven't adjusted to. However, the Wolves are dealing with interior issues. Leonard Miller, expected to be their anchor big man, is listed as questionable for this matchup due to a nagging ankle injury. If Miller doesn't suit up, Minnesota becomes significantly more vulnerable on the boards and in rim protection. In the last game without him, they were out-rebounded 38-29 and gave up 14 second-chance points, a troubling trend against a Phoenix team that's starting to crash the glass more aggressively. Defensively, the Timberwolves are averaging 6.7 steals per game and have held opponents under 42% shooting in their last 2 contests. However, they've also committed a high number of personal fouls, putting opponents on the line 25+ times per game, a liability in close matchups. From a betting perspective, this is one of the tightest lines of the day. According to DraftKings, Phoenix is a slight favorite at -1.5, with the over-under set at 182.5. The moneyline has fluctuated slightly due to Leonard Miller's injury designation, and sharp bettors are watching that report closely. If Miller is confirmed out, expect the Suns to close at -2 or more. Phoenix's recent performance against the spread ATS is encouraging. They've covered in 2 of their last 3 summer league games, while Minnesota is 1-2 ATS, primarily due to second-half collapses. The Suns have also outscored opponents in the fourth quarter of every game so far, thanks to solid bench rotations and veteran calmness from players like Wainwright. What's the tactical battleground? It comes down to Phoenix's perimeter discipline versus Minnesota's verticality and transition speed. If the Suns can rotate quickly, limit Goodwin's 3-point looks, and neutralize Minott's fast break finishes, they can grind this game into a half-court chess match, one they're better suited to win. But if Minnesota forces turnovers, gets Minott flying in transition, and finds Goodwin in rhythm early, Phoenix's slower, deliberate pace could become a liability. The X factor might be Camara's ability to guard Minott one-on-one. Few wings in Summer League have the strength, length, and lateral quickness to stick with Minott, but Camara does. If he holds Minute under 15 points, Phoenix likely controls this game. Another important wrinkle: Phoenix's free throw shooting has quietly been elite. They're converting at 83% as a team, and in a tight spread game, those freebies could be the difference between a cash or a collapse for bettors. Let's not ignore motivation either. Suns head coach Quentin Crawford has emphasized the importance of defense-first mentality throughout Summer League. In post-game interviews, he's constantly credited the team's gritty rotations, physicality, and calm shot selection. Minnesota's staff, on the other hand, has focused more on development, which might leave them vulnerable to late-game pressure if this goes down to the wire. Final prediction: Phoenix Suns 89, Minnesota Timberwolves 85. It won't be pretty, but it'll be smart, structured, and strategic. Expect Sherfield to lead in scoring, Camara to shine defensively, and Phoenix to make just enough plays in crunch time to take the win. Minute will get his highlight plays, but Phoenix's spacing, experience, and execution win the night. For bettors, consider the Suns minus 1.5 and a slight lean on the under 182.5, especially if Leonard Miller is ruled out pregame. Watch the boards, watch the pace, and watch Phoenix grind out another late-game win. As we move deeper into the July 16th Summer League slate, the third game of the day features a fascinating clash of young cores and roster hopefuls as the Milwaukee Bucks take on the Chicago Bulls at 5:30 p.m. ET in Las Vegas. It's a Midwest rivalry with high stakes, even in the summer heat, because for these players, every possession is a resume, and every matchup is an audition in front of coaches, execs, and scouts. Let's start with the Milwaukee Bucks, who come into this game with a Summer League squad that has surprised many with its defensive tenacity and emerging backcourt chemistry. Leading the charge is Ty Washington Jr., the former Kentucky standout and recent G League performer who looks determined to lock down a rotational spot heading into the 2024-25 NBA season. Ty is averaging 18.7 points, 6.4 assists, and 2.1 steals through his Vegas appearances, looking like a floor general reborn, confident, decisive, and more importantly, in complete control of pace. What's impressive is Ty's ability to shift gears. In transition, he's pushing tempo, hitting cutters and corner shooters with precision. In the half court, he's dissecting coverages, probing with floaters, dishing pocket passes to the bigs, or hitting step-back jumpers when defenders go under screens. His assist-to-turnover ratio is among the best in Summer League right now, and that maturity has allowed Milwaukee to play clean, efficient basketball even when lineups get shuffled. Next to him, Chris Livingston, the second-year forward, is making major waves. Drafted in 2023 by Milwaukee but largely underutilized in the regular season, Livingston is making a case for real minutes. He's averaging 15.3 points, 7.8 rebounds, and playing the kind of bully ball wing game that reminds you of a young PJ Tucker. He's been relentless attacking mismatches in the post, crashing the offensive glass, and guarding 2 through 4 with physicality and foot speed. When he's locked in, the Bucks look downright scary defensively. Also contributing is Margin Beauchamp, another key young piece from the Bucks' developmental pool. Beauchamp has added polish to his game, particularly his pull-up shooting and spot-up threes. Though streaky, he's had 2 games already with 20-plus points and is showing flashes of the offensive upside Milwaukee envisioned when they took a flyer on him in the draft. His length and wingspan also give the Bucks valuable tools on the perimeter when defending high-octane guards. Milwaukee's team identity this summer league is all about defensive disruption and floor spacing. They're averaging 9.4 steals per game and holding opponents to just 43.2% shooting from the field, one of the best marks among all Vegas squads. Coach Adrian Griffin's fingerprints are all over this team: switch-heavy defense, aggressive closeouts, and emphasis on winning the effort margin. Now let's shift to the Chicago Bulls, who come in at a crossroads. While the Bulls haven't had the smoothest summer league run, they've got pieces, some volatile, some rising, that make this matchup unpredictable. Their lead dog so far has been Javon Freeman Liberty, a hybrid scoring guard with an explosive first step and a nose for contact. Through Vegas play, he's averaging 20.1 points, 4.3 assists, and getting to the free throw line nearly 7 times per game. When Freeman Liberty gets downhill, defenders are in trouble. He uses hesitations, crossovers, and slithery finishes to keep rim protectors off balance. Backing him up is Adama Sanogo, the UConn national champion big man who's been a monster in the paint. He's putting up 13.9 points and 9.2 rebounds per game while shooting over 60% from the floor. Sanogo might not stretch the floor like a modern big, but he brings serious post presence and offensive rebounding dominance. Against Milwaukee's slightly undersized frontcourt, he could have a serious advantage, particularly if the Bucks don't send early help in the post. Then there's Julian Phillips, the rookie forward who's starting to flash his athleticism. Phillips is averaging just under 9 points a game, but his defensive switchability and vertical explosion in transition have made him a highlight machine in spurts. He's still raw, but his two-way flashes are impossible to ignore. If he continues developing his shot mechanics, the Bulls might have found themselves a future defensive anchor on the wing. Where Chicago struggles is in offensive rhythm and bench consistency. Outside of Freeman Liberty and Sanogo, the Bulls have had trouble generating consistent secondary scoring. Their assist percentage is bottom third among summer league teams, and they're averaging 15 turnovers per game, often due to rushed possessions or over-dribbling. That's not a recipe for success against a Bucks defense that thrives on chaos. Let's talk odds. According to DraftKings and Odds Shark, the Milwaukee Bucks entered this game as 2.5-point favorites, with the total hovering around 185.5 points. The spread opened tighter, but after Chicago's offensive struggles in their last two outings, sharp money began to swing toward the Bucks' favor. The under has hit in 3 of the last 4 Bucks games, largely due to their defensive pace and ability to limit transition chances for opponents. Injuries. As of the latest update, no major players are listed out for either side, though Chicago is monitoring a minor ankle tweak to guard Onrelt Biddum, who's been a key energy player off the bench. If Biddum is limited, the Bulls lose one of their better transition defenders and secondary ball handlers. Milwaukee, meanwhile, is fully healthy and rotating deep, giving them a structural edge late in the third and fourth quarters. What's the key matchup? It's Ty Washington versus Javon Freeman Liberty, plain and simple. Both guards are floor generals, both are scoring-minded, and both are trying to earn a training camp roster spot or a two-way deal. Ty's edge is in control and vision, while Freeman Liberty's lies in his aggression and relentless pressure on the rim. If one of them takes over, the game could shift dramatically. Another pivotal battle is between Chris Livingston and Julian Phillips, two athletic forwards trying to prove they can guard multiple positions, rebound in traffic, and stretch the floor enough to stay on an NBA court. If Livingston can outmuscle Phillips and control the glass, Milwaukee's second-chance game and transition opportunities explode. Here's a stat that might sway bettors. The Bucks are forcing 17.8 turnovers per game, one of the highest in the league, and they're converting those into 19.3 fast break points per game. Chicago, meanwhile, is turning it over 15+ times per game. That's a direct advantage in Milwaukee's favor, especially if they can fluster Chicago's young guards early. Final prediction: Milwaukee Bucks 92, Chicago Bulls 84. Expect a grind-it-out first half, but Milwaukee's backcourt steadiness and bench depth eventually wear down the Bulls. Ty drops 22 with 7 assists, Livingston chips in a double-double, and the Bucks get key stops late. Freeman Liberty fights valiantly, and Sanogo dominates stretches, but Chicago's lack of perimeter shooting and secondary playmaking once again become their Achilles heel. If you're betting this one, consider the Bucks minus 2.5 and a lean on the under 185.5, especially if Biddum doesn't play. This one's all about control, and the Bucks have just a bit more of it right now. The fourth showdown of the July 16 Summer League slate brings us an intriguing East Coast clash between the Orlando Magic and the Brooklyn Nets, tipping off at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't let the Summer League label fool you. Both franchises have loaded this matchup with young talent, athletic wings, and high-ceiling prospects fighting for visibility in their organization's future plans. This one might not have all-stars on the floor, but it's packed with hungry guys trying to prove they belong. Let's dive into the Orlando Magic, a team that's used Summer League to develop depth and sharpen their next inline guards. The main headliner so far. That's Anthony Black, the number 6 overall pick in 2023. After a relatively quiet rookie campaign behind Markelle Fultz and Jalen Suggs, Black has taken full control of Orlando's Summer League offense. And he's been electric. He's currently averaging 17.5 points, 6.8 rebounds, and 5.2 assists per game while shooting 49% from the field. But what stands out about Black is his poise and versatility. At 6 feet 7 inches, he's a legit point forward with elite court vision. He's getting downhill with ease, using his long strides and hesitation dribbles to draw help defenders, and that's opened up passing windows for Orlando's wings. He's also defending at a high level, using that 6 feet 10 inches wingspan to disrupt passing lanes and bother smaller guards. Whether he's playing the 1 or sliding over to guard 3S, he's been Orlando's engine on both ends. Flanking Black is Caleb Houston, the sharpshooting forward from Michigan who's taken a noticeable leap in his confidence and off-ball movement. Houston is knocking down 41% of his threes in Vegas so far, and most of them are coming off curls or relocating off penetration. His mechanics look cleaner, and he's shown improved footwork defensively, particularly when closing out against wings and contesting without fouling. With Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero locked into the rotation, Houston's goal is clear: be the stretch forward sniper off the bench. And so far, he's building a strong case. Also emerging is Mac McClung, the G League standout and dunk contest champion who's looking to parlay his highlight-heavy resume into a permanent roster spot. McClung has been an offensive burst for Orlando, averaging over 15 points per game, hitting pull-up jumpers, and injecting pace into the second unit. But more importantly, he's limiting turnovers and showing a more controlled, half-court-oriented approach, something he's struggled with in previous Summer League runs. His improved decision-making could be the difference-maker if this one comes down to the final few possessions. Orlando's offense is humming. They're averaging 94.7 points per game in Vegas, second among Eastern Conference teams. They're shooting 48% from the floor, and their assist percentage is a respectable 61.3%, meaning the ball is moving, and players are trusting the system. But let's talk about the Brooklyn Nets, who are quietly fielding one of the most balanced and intriguing Summer League squads in Las Vegas. Their top storyline: it's undoubtedly Noah Clowney, the 6 feet 10 inches forward from Alabama drafted in 2023. Clowney has shown serious two-way upside, averaging 14.2 points, 8.3 rebounds, and 1.7 blocks per game. He's protecting the rim with better vertical timing, recovering after switches, and stretching the floor offensively by knocking down mid-range shots and even stepping into a few trail threes. What scouts love is his mobility. He's switching onto guards in pick and rolls and still contesting at the rim. That kind of versatility is rare, and the Nets are giving him heavy reps for a reason. Brooklyn's backcourt has been run by Kennedy Chandler, the lightning-quick point guard who's trying to prove his size won't keep him out of the league. Chandler's speed in transition is game-changing. He's pushing the pace, collapsing defenses, and hitting shooters like Jalen Wilson and Jalen Martin on the perimeter. Chandler is averaging 11.6 points and 5.9 assists while limiting turnovers and showing improvement in his perimeter defense, an area he was criticized for during his brief Grizzlies stint last year. Speaking of Jalen Wilson, The 6 feet 8 inches forward out of Kansas is quietly putting together a very impressive summer league campaign. He's averaging 17.1 points, 6 rebounds, and hitting over 36% from 3, proving that his scoring versatility in college can translate to the next level. Wilson's mid-post game has been a weapon. He's using jab steps, up fakes, and one-dribble pull-ups with confidence. If he continues at this pace, he may carve out a two-way or end-of-bench role with Brooklyn come October. The Nets also bring solid role versatility with Derek Whitehead, who's returning from injury and flashing glimpses of the elite two-way wing potential he was touted for at Duke. While still being ramped up in limited minutes, Whitehead gives the Nets another long defender and a potential three-level scorer once he's fully integrated. Now let's bring the numbers into this. According to DraftKings and Sportsline, the Orlando Magic are favored by -2.5 points, with the total set at 186.5. That line has held steady for 24 hours, and bettors are split, with 58% of public money backing Orlando and 42% leaning toward Brooklyn. The over has hit in 3 straight Orlando games, mainly due to their high shot volume and fast pace. But the under has hit in 2 of Brooklyn's last 3 contests, thanks to their ability to slow things down and win ugly, physical battles. Injury update. Both teams come in relatively healthy. Anthony Black and Clowney are good to go, while Whitehead remains on a slight minute restriction but is expected to play. Orlando's full rotation is intact, including McClung, who had a minor back spasm scare earlier in the week but has been cleared. So, what's the key matchup? It's Anthony Black versus Kennedy Chandler, a true clash of tempo and style. Black plays tall, methodical, and deliberate. Chandler plays low, explosive, and rapid fire. Whoever dictates pace will likely determine which team gets its preferred style of offense: fast-paced downhill attacks or half-court precision and ball movement. The other vital duel, Noah Clowney versus Caleb Houston. Houston's perimeter gravity will stretch Clowney defensively. If Clowney closes out too hard, Houston can backcut or pull him into foul trouble. But if Clowney anticipates well in contests without fouling, Brooklyn can snuff out Orlando's pick-and-pop actions and force them into ISO basketball, which has been their least efficient offensive set in Vegas. For bettors, watch the rebounding margin. Orlando is giving up 12.6 offensive rebounds per game, while Brooklyn is averaging 13.2 second chance points, one of the highest in Summer League. If Clowney and Wilson dominate the glass, that edge could tilt this close matchup in Brooklyn's favor. And don't forget, Orlando's three-point percentage has dipped to just 31% over their last 2 games, which could be a concern against a Nets defense that's locking down the perimeter and forcing teams into tough contested twos. Final score prediction: Orlando Magic 93, Brooklyn Nets 88. Expect a grind in the first half and a chess match in the second. Black will be steady, McClung will hit a few big shots, and Houston's spacing will ultimately win out. Chandler will keep it close for Brooklyn, and Wilson will have a strong game, but Orlando's cohesion, balance, and half-court execution in crunch time make the difference. The spread is tight, the matchup is even, and the pace is key, but Orlando has the better closer in Black and more structured depth behind him. If you're betting this one, lean Orlando -2.5 and a soft lean toward the over 186.5, especially if McClung heats up late. We've reached Game 5 on the Summer League docket for July 16th, and it's a matchup buzzing with potential and storylines as the Dallas Mavericks square off against the Philadelphia 76ers. Tip-off is set for 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and if you're a scout, a fantasy addict, or just a fan craving the next breakout star, this one might just be the diamond in the rough. These two squads are coming into the contest with clear identities and very different momentum. Let's begin with the Dallas Mavericks, who have quietly put together one of the more efficient and tactical Summer League rosters in Las Vegas. They aren't the flashiest squad, but their roster is filled with intelligent players, physical wings, and a system that emphasizes off-ball movement, defensive switching, and second-chance hustle plays. The headliner for the Mavs so far has been Olivier Maxence Prosper, the second-year forward out of Marquette who continues to show rapid development on both ends of the court. Through Vegas play, he's averaging 16.1 points, 6.7 rebounds, and over 1.5 steals per game while guarding multiple positions. What makes Prosper so valuable is his motor. He's contesting every shot, crashing the offensive glass, and playing with a physicality that's rare in Summer League. When Dallas needs a bucket, he's often the one initiating contact, driving through smaller wings, and finishing with authority. Next to him, Brandon Williams is controlling the backcourt with poise and pace. While he's bounced between G League and short NBA stints, Williams is playing like a seasoned floor general. He's averaging 15.4 points, 6.3 assists, and just under 2 turnovers per game. He's developed chemistry with Prosper and Dallas stretch bigs in pick-and-pop sets and is doing an excellent job of setting tempo, slowing things down when necessary but exploding in transition when the defense lapses. Also worth watching is Taze Moore, the hyper-athletic combo guard who's been making a strong case as the Mavs' energy booster off the bench. Moore brings relentless full-court defense, gets to the rim in 2 dribbles, and is providing much-needed toughness on the perimeter. He might not show up in every box score, but when Dallas wins, Moore's fingerprints are on it. As a team, the Mavericks are allowing just 82.4 points per game, one of the lowest marks in Vegas, and rank top 5 in deflections and fast-break defense. They're winning games not by outscoring opponents in shootouts, but by grinding possessions, closing out hard, and rebounding as a unit. When they get second-chance points and keep the turnover battle close, they usually pull ahead. Now let's shift focus to the Philadelphia 76ers, who enter this contest on a completely different narrative arc. The Sixers have been up and down this summer league, largely due to streaky shooting and lack of half-court execution. However, they've got one of the most physically imposing young rosters, and when their pieces click, they can overwhelm teams with length and athleticism. The central piece of Philly's summer league is Ricky Council IV, the undrafted forward who turned heads last season with a string of explosive G League performances. He's picking up right where he left off in Vegas, averaging 19.3 points, 5.6 rebounds, and 2.1 assists per game while shooting over 47% from the field. Council is built like an NFL safety, attacks the rim with force, and doesn't shy away from contact. When he gets downhill, he draws fouls in bunches, and he's improved his touch around the rim, finishing through vertical contests and using his frame to shield defenders. Flanking him is Jared Brownridge, the sharpshooting wing who's been letting it fly from deep. Brownridge is averaging 12.7 points, knocking down 38% from 3, and spacing the floor for Philly's slashing guards. He's playing a vital role in giving Council and Terquavion Smith the space to attack closeouts and drive to the bucket. Speaking of Smith, the Sixers' backup guard has been electric in spurts. While his decision-making still needs polish, he's capable of going on microwave scoring runs. Smith is averaging 11.2 points, but more importantly, he's showing better patience in the pick-and-roll game. When he's not forcing it, he's finding the bigs on lobs or kickouts to Brownridge and Council. But here's the red flag: interior defense and rebounding. Without a true dominant center on this summer league roster, Philadelphia is getting beaten badly on the boards, surrendering 14.8 offensive rebounds per game, the worst among all teams this week. Their help rotations are often a step slow, and opponents are converting putbacks at a 62% clip. Against a physical Dallas team, that spells real trouble. Let's now look at the odds and betting market. According to DraftKings, the Mavericks opened as 2.5-point favorites, with the over-under set at 181.5. Early public money has come in slightly on Dallas, with 61% of bets and 67% of handle backing the Mavs to cover. The total has stayed firm, with sharps undecided due to both teams showing volatile pace and scoring patterns. Dallas has hit the under in 4 of their last 5 Summer League games, largely due to their defensive identity and slower tempo. Meanwhile, Philly has gone over in 3 of their last 4 games, mostly because of high turnover shootouts and fast-scoring stretches from their bench units. Injury update. Both teams are relatively healthy. No major names are listed out, though Dallas is monitoring minor calf tightness for A.J. Lawson, who's expected to be a game-time decision. If Lawson plays, he adds another capable wing defender and slasher to Dallas' deep rotation. Philadelphia's key players are all expected to be active. So what's the tactical battleground here? It's all about paint scoring and rebounding control. Dallas is winning with size and rebounding by committee. Prosper, Taze Moore, and even their guards are crashing the glass. If they dominate the boards again, especially offensively, they'll control the pace and pull away late. Philly's path to victory lies in forcing turnovers and attacking downhill early. If Council IV and Smith can get into the paint before Dallas sets their shell defense, and Brownridge keeps hitting his triples, the Sixers can stretch the lead and turn this into a track meet, something the Mavericks don't want. The X factor. It's Brandon Williams versus Terquavion Smith. Williams has the edge in experience, poise, and efficiency. But Smith can explode for 10+ in a 4-minute stretch. Whoever stays in rhythm and limits mistakes likely dictates the second-half tempo. Final score prediction. Dallas Mavericks 90, Philadelphia 76ers 83. This one will be physical, methodical, and maybe even choppy at times, but Dallas has the edge in structure, size, and two-way consistency. Prosper leads all scorers with a 20-piece, Moore energizes the defense late, and Williams controls the game down the stretch. Council IV shines again for Philly, but rebounding issues and second-chance points undo the Sixers once more. Betting recommendation. Take Dallas -2.5, and lean toward the under 181.5 unless both benches go nuclear. The 6th matchup of the July 16 NBA Summer League slate delivers a highly anticipated duel between two of the most aggressive developmental teams in the league, the New Orleans Pelicans and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Tip-off is scheduled for 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and while it may not have the star-studded names you'll see in October, this is a showcase of high-octane youth movement and front-office scouting brilliance. Both teams have brought real talent to Las Vegas, and both have players who could very realistically earn meaningful rotation minutes come the 2024-25 season. So let's break it down. Let's begin with the Oklahoma City Thunder, a franchise known for hoarding draft capital, and more importantly, developing it wisely. This Summer League squad has been no exception. Leading the charge is Ousmane Dieng, the 6'10" French forward who's shown marked improvement in his third summer stint. He's averaging 18.4 points, 7.1 rebounds, and 3.2 assists, showing off the kind of point-forward skill set that makes you wonder just how high his ceiling really is. What stands out with Dieng is not just the size and fluidity, it's the confidence. He's pulling up from mid-range, directing traffic, and even switching onto guards defensively. He's playing like he belongs, and that's exactly what OKC wants. They don't need stars here. They need versatile glue guys who can slide in next to SGA, Jalen Williams, and Chet Holmgren. Dieng is starting to look like that guy. Next to him, Cason Wallace, last year's first-round pick, is making his case loud and clear. Wallace is averaging 14.6 points, 5.3 assists, and an impressive 2.4 steals per game, showcasing a blend of on-ball defense, off-ball IQ, and improved shooting touch. His ability to pressure ball handlers without fouling and seamlessly switch onto wings gives OKC even more defensive flexibility, a cornerstone of their NBA identity. Rounding out the key contributors is Jared Butler, the former Baylor star who's carving out a steady role in this rotation. Butler's not flashy, but he's extremely effective. He's shooting over 45% from 3, acting as the calming presence in crunch time, and serving as the perfect stabilizer when the offense gets chaotic. His shooting and veteran composure offer OKC a different dimension when De Jong or Wallace are being blitzed. As a unit, the Thunder Summer League team is playing very much like their NBA counterpart, unselfish, switchable, and deadly in transition. They're averaging 91.2 points per game, while holding opponents to just 85.3, and their turnover differential is among the best in Las Vegas. Coach Cameron Woods has this squad operating with surgical discipline, especially on the defensive end. But the New Orleans Pelicans are no slouches either. This might be one of the most underrated rosters in Summer League play, and they've got a few names every NBA fan should keep an eye on. Start with Jordan Hawkins, last year's first-round pick who struggled in his rookie campaign but is clearly here to prove a point. Hawkins is averaging 21.5 points per game, including 4.1 made threes per contest, while shooting a scorching 46.8% from beyond the arc. He's been impossible to chase around screens, defenders are trailing, switching, and still getting burned. If Hawkins keeps this up, he might find himself sliding into a sixth-man role for the full squad by the fall. Backing him up is Dyson Daniels, the versatile guard-wing hybrid who's been using Vegas to show his improved playmaking and defensive polish. Daniels is posting 12.8 points, 6.3 assists, and nearly 2 steals per game. His passing has improved, particularly out of the pick and roll, and his ability to cover 1 through 3 makes him one of the most disruptive perimeter defenders in Summer League. One of the most intriguing stories for New Orleans, however, is Karlo Matkovic, the 6'11" big from Croatia who's flown under the radar. He's been a dominant interior presence, averaging 11.6 points, 8.7 rebounds, and almost 2 blocks per game. His motor never stops, and his timing on weak side blocks has completely changed the Pelicans' rim protection dynamics. Also making waves is Darian Sebron, a do-it-all swingman who's stuffing the stat sheet. He's a high-energy guard who attacks relentlessly, draws fouls, and plays with a chip on his shoulder. He's the type of Summer League guy who finds a two-way contract before the week is over. Tactically, the Pelicans are leaning hard into floor spacing and high-tempo offense. With Hawkins and Daniels pulling defenders away from the basket, Matkovic and Sebron are finding lanes to attack, while the perimeter shooters feast off drive and kicks. They're shooting 38.4% from 3, one of the best marks in the field, and averaging just under 25 assists per game, another top 5 number. Let's bring in the Vegas line. According to the latest odds from DraftKings and OddsShark, the Oklahoma City Thunder are slight favorites at -2.5, with the total set at 187.5. That's a sharp line considering how well both teams have been scoring and defending. Public money is leaning slightly toward the Thunder, with about 59% of bets backing them to cover. The total has seen 2 bumps already, opening at 184.5 and rising 3 full points, signaling that oddsmakers expect a higher pace or stronger efficiency. Injury-wise, both squads are fully loaded. No starters are expected to sit, though the Pelicans are managing Daniels' minutes due to minor ankle soreness. He's been cleared to play, but they may limit him slightly in the second half, depending on game flow. The Thunder have a clean bill of health. What's the key matchup here? It's Jordan Hawkins versus Cason Wallace. Hawkins is running off pin-downs and flare screens all game long. Wallace will be tasked with trailing him, closing out hard, and preventing open looks from 3. If Wallace can deny those catch-and-shoot chances and force Hawkins to put the ball on the deck, OKC gains a major edge. Another tactical clash to watch is Matkovic versus De Jong. Both are mobile bigs, but De Jong has more perimeter skill while Matkovic is more traditional and physical in the post. Whichever player wins the rebounding battle and forces the other into foul trouble could swing the momentum. And don't underestimate bench impact. Jared Butler's steadiness versus Sebron's chaos will be a swing factor. If Sebring turns the tempo into a track meet, OKC could get caught flat-footed. But if Butler keeps the pace calm and the ball moving, OKC's system will break down the Pelicans' defense methodically. Final score prediction: Oklahoma City Thunder 94, New Orleans Pelicans 89. This will be a battle of execution versus firepower. Hawkins and Daniels will shine early, and Matkovic will dominate stretches inside. But OKC's balance, De Jong's playmaking, and Wallace's perimeter defense will take over in the second half. Butler hits a couple of big fourth-quarter shots, and OKC escapes with a clutch win to remain undefeated in Vegas. Best bets: Thunder minus 2.5, and a strong lean on the over 187.5, especially if Hawkins gets loose from deep. The final showdown of the July 16 NBA Summer League slate pits the Washington Wizards against the Utah Jazz in what promises to be a tactical and high-energy battle between two franchises deeply committed to rebuilding from the ground up. Both teams come into this matchup with strong Summer League campaigns and rosters brimming with recent first-round picks, developmental projects, and players fighting for training camp invitations. Tip-off is set for 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and it's the kind of late-night clash where future rotations are shaped and breakout stars are born. Let's start with the Washington Wizards, who are showing real signs of progress in this developmental setting. After a year full of roster upheaval, Washington's front office made it clear this summer, it's time to invest in youth. And leading that youth movement is Bilal Coulibaly, the 6 feet 8 inches French wing who was selected 7th overall in the 2023 NBA draft. After a shaky start to his rookie season, Coulibaly is thriving under the looser structure of Summer League basketball. Through 4 games, he's averaging 16.2 points, 6.7 rebounds, 2.3 assists, and an impressive 2.1 steals per game. What's jumped out the most is his defensive versatility. He's switching across 3 positions, anticipating passing lanes, and using his elite wingspan to disrupt everything from cross-court passes to handoffs. Offensively, Coulibaly is becoming more aggressive as a creator. He's attacking closeouts, initiating fast breaks, and isn't afraid to take the mid-range pull-up that defenders are giving him. His three-point shooting remains a work in progress, hovering around 34.6%. But his willingness to shoot and his improved form have been encouraging signs for a Wizards franchise desperate for two-way wings. Alongside Coulibaly is the impressive rookie Carlton Bub Carrington, the smooth, 6 feet 5 inches combo guard out of Pittsburgh. Taken in the first round of the 2024 draft, Carrington has been the primary playmaker for this Summer League squad. He's averaging 15.4 points, 5.9 assists, and 1.7 steals, all while showing poise beyond his years. Carrington thrives in pick-and-roll actions, uses hesitation dribbles to manipulate defenders, and is unselfish with his passes. He's not lightning quick, but his handle is tight, and his court vision has given Washington some much-needed structure in late-clock situations. The third major contributor for the Wizards has been Tristan Vukcevic, a stretch big out of Serbia who joined the roster late last season and is now starting to turn heads. At 6 feet 11 inches, Vukcevic plays with finesse. He's a deadly shooter off the pick and pop, currently hitting 45% from three-point range, and his mobility allows him to trail in transition and knock down rhythm jumpers. Defensively, he's still raw. He struggles with physicality around the rim and gets into foul trouble trying to contest vertical plays. But offensively, he's provided crucial spacing for Coulibaly and Carrington to work with. Washington's game plan has relied heavily on ball movement and defensive pressure. They rank in the top 5 among Summer League teams in both assists and deflections per game. But they also suffer from some classic growing pains, particularly turnovers, with over 15.2 giveaways per game, and poor rebounding. The Wizards allow over 12.7 second chance points per contest, often due to miscommunication on box-outs or over-helping off the glass. Now let's talk about the Utah Jazz, arguably one of the most consistent and balanced teams in Las Vegas. Their young trio of Keontae George, Taylor Hendricks, and Bryce Sensabaugh has looked more polished than most of their summer league competition, and that chemistry has shown up in the box scores. Keontae George, Utah's electric 6 feet 4 inches guard from the 2023 draft class, has been on an absolute heater. He's averaging 21.8 points, 5.3 assists, and 1.9 steals, shooting 47% from the floor and 41.2% from beyond the arc. His footwork is sharp, his decision-making is faster, and he's clearly bulked up over the offseason. George is no longer just a scorer. He's controlling the pace, shifting gears like a veteran point guard, and rarely turning the ball over. His growth as a floor general is one of the most important takeaways from this Jazz Summer League run. Backing him up is Taylor Hendricks, the 6 feet 9 inches forward out of UCF who's emerged as a two-way problem for every team in Vegas. Hendricks is averaging 11.9 points, 8.1 rebounds, and 2.5 blocks, while shooting a respectable 36% from deep. What sets him apart is his defensive timing. He's rotating from the weak side with perfect anticipation, recovering in pick-and-roll coverage, and using his length to contest without fouling. On offense, he's more opportunistic, cutting when George collapses the defense, spacing the floor, and occasionally attacking closeouts with a one-dribble pull-up. Then there's Bryce Sensabaugh, Utah's 6 feet 6 inches bucket getter who's been crucial off the bench and in late-game scoring situations. Sensabaugh is pouring in 17.2 points per game, hitting over 49% from the field and nearly 39% from three. He's physical, aggressive, and knows how to create space in isolation. Whether it's a quick post-up, a strong drive to the cup, or a corner three, Sensabaugh brings a microwave scoring ability that few other summer league wings possess. Utah also has impressive depth. Micah Potter is anchoring the bench unit with hustle plays, screen setting, and rim protection. Johnny Juzang has rediscovered his UCLA shooting touch, and Colby Ross, a two-way candidate, is providing steady ball handling when George rests. The Jazz as a whole are a top 3 team in defensive efficiency, allowing just 80.9 points per game, and have one of the best assist-to-turnover ratios in the tournament. Let's turn to the betting lines and key analytics. According to DraftKings, the Jazz open as -4.5 favorites, with the over-under set at 185.5. OddsShark and Vegas Insider report that 62% of public money is on Utah to cover, and 55% of sharp bettors are leaning toward the under, citing both teams' defensive metrics and slow-tempo half-court offense. In terms of injuries, both teams are mostly healthy. The Wizards are closely monitoring Carrington, who tweaked his ankle in Game 3, but he's expected to play without restriction. Utah has no significant injuries, though they've limited Hendricks' second-half minutes to manage his conditioning. So what's the X factor? It comes down to ball security and interior defense. If Carrington can break Utah's perimeter pressure and avoid careless turnovers, Washington has a real shot. But if George forces him into rushed decisions and denies Coulibaly easy transition looks, the Wizards' offense could grind to a halt. On the flip side, Vucevic must stay out of foul trouble. If Hendricks dominates the paint and Sensabaugh gets hot, Utah can run away with this in the third quarter. Final score prediction: Utah Jazz 93, Washington Wizards 86. Keontae George goes for 24 points and 6 assists, Hendricks swats 3 shots, and the Jazz pull away late. Coulibaly will make a few highlight plays, and Carrington will keep it close early, but the Jazz's chemistry, defense, and depth ultimately prove too much. Take Jazz -4.5 and a slight lean on the under 185.5. If you loved this deep dive into Summer League basketball and want more breakdowns like this, don't just scroll past. Hit that subscribe button and smash the like to keep Beyond the Box Score growing. We break down every angle, advanced stats, injury updates, player trends, betting value, and future potential, all in one place. Got a prediction of your own for Wizards vs Jazz? Drop it in the comments. I want to hear from the real hoop heads. And don't forget to turn on notifications, because tomorrow's breakdown might feature your favorite rookie or team. This is where the future of the league begins, and we're watching every minute. You're not just a fan, you're beyond the box score.